Hi, I'm Rahul, and in this tutorial we will learn about data preparation. So what is data preparation? The data preparation is the process of gathering, combining, structuring and organizing data. Data preparation actually done to manipulate data into a suitable format for further processing and analysis. Data pre-processing or data preparation using conventional techniques would be tedious and time consuming. Data preparation takes around 70 to 80% of the time that we spend on data mining process. So organizing the data correctly can save a lot of time and prevent mistakes. To make it smooth, R has different tools that helps in preparing data and makes it much easier and faster. Data preparation is one of the most important tasks as poor data set leads in biased results. A well-prepared data improves quality of the results. So let's start with data preparation. So for this tutorial, I'm using the iris dataset. You can use the existing iris dataset that is inbuilt in the R environment or R programming. But I'm downloading this iris dataset from a UCI website. It is a repository of datasets. So you can go to this website. Here it is known as Machine Learning Repository UCI. Okay, here you can see large number of datasets are available. And just go to view all data sets and look for the iris dataset. Okay, just press Ctrl F and find, type here. I'm using this Firefox, so it will come here and find the dataset iris. Type iris, it will pop up the iris dataset here, and click the dataset iris, and it will lead you to the page, this page, and here you will get one folder, data folder, and another is dataset description. So go to the data folder or open it in a new tab, and in which you will get iris.data. So just click that one, and here you will get see the dataset, or there are 5 features, 4 variables, and one classification is there for 3 types of flower. And you can you have to just copy this link for download and go to the RStudio again, and inside the quotation just paste that link and save inside this variable web link, so that we can use that web link for downloading this data into directly in our R environment. Okay, so use the read.csv function, because it is a CSV file. You can see it is a comma separated value. Here it is separated with comma. So just use the read.csv file. Inside that parenthesis of the function, use the URL function, and here paste the web link. This web link contains such this URL. And after that, header equal to false. That means there is no header. You can see the data where there is it has no header and no column name. So, and save this data into iris. Just press Ctrl Enter and assign the link to the web link. And after that, just press Ctrl Enter. It will fetch the data from server and download it into the R environment. So press Ctrl Enter. It will start downloading. Here you can see that iris dataset, and if you click that dataset, you will see 5 columns and 4 features of that, of 3 types of flowers or species. Okay, so what are the names of that column? Just to see the names, go to the website again and go to Machine Learning Repository in iris dataset, and after that dataset description. If you go to the dataset description, you will see here that it has sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and class. Okay, 3 type of class. Okay, so I have specified the names. You can see you have to specify the names, because you have to rename it. If you want to see what is the data structure looks like, you can also use the view function, view, that is capital V, view, and put the dataset name iris here and press Ctrl Enter. It will open up the data or the data frame. You can see here with 4 features and 1 species. Okay, so I want to rename those columns, and you can see the names in web browser, sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and class. Okay, so I am using sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and class. So class I am giving here species. Okay, so there are 3 types of species. So you can use the column name function. So I am giving using the column names, and under that give the data set name Irish, and then assign with the assignment operator vector. Inside the vector just give the column names. There are 5 column names: sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and species. Just press Ctrl Enter, and after Ctrl Enter it will automatically add those column names, and you can see those column names using same column names function. So column names, inside that give the Irish dataset again. You can see that it has assigned these 5 names in the column. So you can also see here, just click here, it will show you sepal.length, sepal.width, petal.length, petal.width, and species. Okay. So to see the number of rows and number of columns, we can use the dimension function. So it will show first the number of rows, then it will show next the column. So use the dimension function, and inside the parenthesis give the Irish dataset name. It will show the dimension, 150 rows and 5 columns. So if you have downloaded a dataset, whether the dataset contains any empty value or NA values mean that empty values are missing values. Okay, to check NA values, we can use the apply function. If you want to know about apply function, you can see my most frequently used R functions video. Here I am using the apply function and is.na function to detect each column basis how many empty values or missing values are there. Okay, so use the apply function. Inside the parenthesis give the dataset first Irish, comma. 2 means it will check column wise. 1 means it will check row wise. So 2 means it will check each column, and after that give a comma and give the function. So creating a function, give the function and give the argument. Here I am giving the argument x, and inside the body I am giving, it will take out the sum of what? NA values. So I am taking out the sum of what? I am using the is.na function of the x, that argument x that we have provided here. It will check up is.na whether there is a NA value or not inside the x, and it sum up, and where it will get this x value. It will get from Irish dataset, and it is from 2 means it will just scan it column wise. So if you press Ctrl Enter, it will show every column details whether it has a NA value or not. Press Ctrl Enter. It is showing that sepal.length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, species contains 0 NA values. That means there is no NA values, and it is perfect now for you can use it for directly for analysis. And before proceeding to analysis, we have to gather more information. That's why we are doing this data preparation. So to check what is the structure of the particular Irish dataset, to check the structure you have to use the str function, and inside the parenthesis gives the dataset name Irish. Okay, so it will show you the type of variable it contains and number of observations. So just press Ctrl Enter. It will show that it is a data.frame and contains 150 observations and 5 variables, and it has 5 variables: sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and species, and the 4 of them is number, and the species is a categorical, so it is a factor. So next is let's say we want to select and we want to do analysis only for 2 columns. Say we want to select the sepal columns, okay, that contains sepal length and sepal width. To do this, and we want to assign that in a variable, say sepal underscore columns. So to do this, just take out the type the Irish dataset and give a third bracket, and inside the third bracket you have to separate it with comma. This is the comma. In left side of the comma, it is you have to give the rows to select the rows, and right side of the comma you have to give the columns that you want to select the columns. So here I have kept it blank. That means I want to select blank means you want to select all the rows. So I kept it left blank, so in left side, so it will select all the rows. And in the right side I have specified with a vector that I want to select these 2 columns only, sepal.length and sepal.width. In vector you have to give it in a quotation with separated by a comma, and if I press Control Enter, it will assign this sepal.length and sepal.width with all rows inside that sepal_underscore columns. So use the head function, and inside that give the variable name. You can see the first 6 values, whether it assigned only sepal.length and sepal.width or not. So here you can see that sepal.length and sepal.width assigned in the particular sepal_column variable. So if you want to select the, say I want to select the petal columns, but in different way, rather than specifying the specific name. Say I don't know the name, but I know the column number. So petal columns are, if you want to see, just go to the IRIS dataset. So petal columns are 3rd column and 4th column. Okay, so I want to select the 3rd and 4th column that contains the petal columns. To do that, I'm saving that data in petal_columns, and same, use the IRIS dataset, give the 3rd bracket, separate with comma, and I want to select all rows. That's why I kept it left side, and in right side I'm specifying with a vector that I want to select 3 and 4th column. So 3, 4. Press Control Enter, it will assign the 3rd and 4th columns inside the petal_columns. And if you want to check, use the head function here, and it will show the first 6 rows. So it now showing that petal.length and petal.width. So if you want to select, say, rows, a few number of rows, say I want to select the first 1 to 4 row, and of that row along with I want to select only the sepal.length. So for sepal.length I want to select, that means 1 to 4 rows. To do this, use the IRIS dataset and type the IRIS dataset name or dataset name. Then inside the square brackets, first in separate with comma, and left side give 1 to 4. That same semicolon means that it is ranges 1 to 4. So I want to select in left side. The left side indicates the rows. That means I want to select 1 to 4 rows, and in right side I want to select only the sepal.length column. So press Control Enter, it will show you the values 1 to 4 rows of the sepal_length column. Okay, let's say select first 4 rows with all columns. Let's say I want to select first 4 rows, but it will show all columns, not a single column like sepal.length. To do that, use the IRIS dataset or dataset name IRIS, then in square bracket first specify the rows 1 to 4, then give a comma and keep it left, keep it as blank. So blank means it will select all the columns. You haven't specified anything. That means it will by default select all the columns. So just press Control Enter. It will show the first 4 rows 1 to 4 with all the columns. Let's say at some times we have to select a specific type of data. Say I want to select only the IRIS then hyphen Virginica. Okay, because data sets are specified like that, so you can see that it is provided with a hyphen. Okay, so IRIS hyphen Virginica, I want to select only that species and want to save inside the Virginica variable. Okay, so do that. You use the IRIS dataset name, give the 3rd bracket, separate with a comma. In left side I want to select the rows. What rows? That contains the IRIS and IRIS hyphen Virginica. Okay, so again give IRIS $sign. That means inside the dataset you want to select the species column. So select the species and use the equal to. Under species, what you want to select? I want to select IRIS, that hyphen and Virginica. So IRIS Virginica. So inside quotation give that, and next to the comma keep it blank, because I want to select all the columns regarding IRIS and IRIS Virginica. Okay, so just press Control Enter. It will save inside the Virginica, and if you check the head using head function, the first 6 rows, it will show only IRIS Virginica, and it will show the 6. I am using the head, so it will show the first 6 rows. Sorry. So next is data subset. Data subset is taking out smaller set of data or small size of data from a large data set. For smaller analysis or simple analysis, you can separate as per your requirement a large data set into smaller subsets. Okay, so for subset you have to use the subset function. So let's say I want to subset data with particular species. Okay, So similar here, as I have used this iris virginica, here I am using the iris versicolor and using the subset. Okay, and using that subset I want to take the iris versicolor only and save inside the versicolor. Okay, so use the subset function, then inside the parenthesis give the first data name iris, then give a comma, and after that species column. In species column, what you want to select, give equal to, and use the use the quotation mark and type the name iris versicolor. So it will take out the iris versicolor only and saved inside the versicolor. Okay, so let's assign. Press Ctrl Enter and then use the head function. It will show iris versicolor only and all the columns. Okay, similar, earlier we have used this function and here we are using subset function. So in subset function we can also use the conditional subsetting, like based on certain condition, like I want to select sepal.length less than equal to 5 and petal.width greater than equal to 0.1. So at that case use the subset function, give the inside the parenthesis give the data set and give the conditional conditions like sepal.length less than equal to 5 I want to select, and means it will take both the arguments together, and petal.width greater than equal to 0.1, and so after subsetting it will save in the condition underscore subset. Okay, just press Ctrl Enter, it will subset the data based on the condition, and use the head function to see sepal.length less than equal to 5. So you can check here, sepal.length less than equal to 5 is there, and petal.width greater than equal to 0.1. So here petal.width greater than 0.1. So it is a head function, so it is showing only 6 rows. You can check by going to condition underscore subset. Here it will it saved here. You can go there and check all the conditions. Okay, so next is conditional subset, but want to select a species, only species column. I don't want to print it all the columns. Let's say I want to use these conditions but want to select the species column. Okay, so if you just type the same here and with comma use the select argument equal to species, then it will only select based on this less than equal to 5 and greater than equal to 0.1 conditions, select the species. Okay, so just assign this into condition under subset 1 and use the head function to see. It will show that species column only selected here, because we have provided a condition select equal to species, only species column based on these two conditions. So next is data ordering. Sometimes we have to arrange the data in ascending order or descending order. To use to order the data set, you have to use the order function. So I want first to select the petal.length in ascending order, and it will arrange the all data set in all columns based on petal.length's ascending order. That means it's increasing order. Okay, so to do that, type the data set name iris, use the third bracket for indexing, and then use the order, then use the comma first of all, and in left side that means you want to just segregate it in based on rows. So use the order, then under iris and inside the iris data set use the dollar to select petal.length, and comma, after comma you are giving nothing. That means if you keep it empty, that means you want to select all columns, and you want to save this in ascending variable. Okay, just press Ctrl Enter, it will save. Then use the head function. You can see that the petal.length is in increasing order. Okay, and all the columns are segregated or printed here based on this petal.length getter in ascending order. Okay, so in descending order, just you have to use the same concept, and just you have to specify here with a comma that decreasing equal to true. That means you want it to be in decreasing order or descending order. Okay, just press Ctrl Enter, use head to check the first 6 rows, and you can see that petal.length now it is in decreasing order, 6.9, 6.7 in decreasing order. So next is merging. sometimes you got data from different sources and you want to club those data for a particular type of analysis. But merging, in merging, you have to use a function called merge, okay, and you need a common variable based on which the two data set can be merged together. Say I want to first I am showing the merging process here. Say first I want to create a ID because it doesn't contain a common variable, so I just for showing I am creating another column, say ID, and assigning a value 1 to 50 because we have a data set of 150 rows, okay. So to assign, as I don't want to change the iris dataset, so I'm assigning this iris dataset to a iris underscore ID in a new variable, okay. Just assigning it, and under that iris, for creating a new column, just type the iris underscore ID, that new variable in which I have assigned the iris whole dataset. So under that iris underscore ID, use the $sign, and whatever the column name we want to give, just give here ID, and save and assign it the numbers. I want to assign it 1 to 150 numbers, so it will assign 1 to 150. Just press Ctrl Enter, and if you check the head of iris underscore ID, there would be a new column. There will be a new column, and you can check that column name is ID, and it has 1 to 150 variable. So here is the new column ID, and it is in 1 2 3 4 up to 150 values. Let's say I want to I am here creating a two separate data set. One is sepal underscore data and another is petal underscore data, and sepal underscore data only contains sepal.length, sepal.width, and ID, a common that we I'm creating a common just for showing how merge works. And petal underscore data contains petal length and petal width and ID, okay. So using the subset function again and saving inside the sepal underscore data, and selecting only under the subset, giving the dataset name in both case, and using the select equal to these three columns, and here select equal to these three columns, and both contains a common variable ID. Based on this common variable, we will merge together those data set. Just assign the first sepal length, sepal width, and ID in sepal underscore data. After that, assign the petal length, petal width, and ID in the petal underscore data. So now I am using, you can see here the data is assigned, and you can also see here petal data and sepal sepal data. Sepal data would be here 150 with three variables, sepal length, sepal width, ID, and petal data, petal length, petal width, ID. There is one common variable or column, ID, okay. So based on this common variable, we will merge the two data sets and want to just save that data set in merge underscore data. So after merging, the number of column would be will be there in new data set, sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and ID. 5 variables will be there, okay. I'm not considering species here. So use the merge function, and inside the function specify the dataset name that you want to merge. First I want to merge sepal underscore data with petal underscore data, and by with a comma by which you have to specify a common column, by ID. So specify it in a quotations, and when you press Ctrl Enter with this merge function specifying the sepal length with sepal data and petal data and by ID, when you press Ctrl Enter, it will save inside the merge underscore data. And you can now see the merge underscore data contains 150 of the 5 variables, because if you see, it has only one ID column here because we have merged this one with this common variable or common column ID. So you can check also using head function here, okay. So coming to the adding a new variable or a new row. So how to add a new row? Sometimes you need to add some data inside your existing data set. So for doing this, I am using the rbind function here because I want to add the data in row wise, not column wise, okay. So rbind is a function, use the rbind function, and give the data set, say in iris data set. Okay, in iris data set, the existing iris data set we have, in which we want to assign these values, okay, in row wise. So I'm using rbind. Inside the parenthesis give the data set name iris, comma, and then what you want to assign. See, that means such a vector here. First I want to assign 5.3, then 3.3, 1.3, 0.3, and then species in same sequence: first column, second column, third column, fourth column, and fifth column. Okay, and when you press Control Enter, it will add a new data, and I don't want to manipulate the existing iris data set, so I am saving it in iris 1. Okay, so it has already 150 variables. Let's assign it first. Press Control Enter, it will assign, and you can check there 150 observations. If you want to check, then use the nrow function for counting the number of rows, and give in parentheses the existing variable name in which we have saved the additional one variable inside the existing data set iris. So press Control Enter, it will show that we have now 151 number of rows, one increased, which earlier it was 150. So sometimes we have to drop some columns or rows. So I am showing here how to drop a column using a different way. So first, drop column using the index. We can use the index values inside the square bracket to drop a particular variable. Say we want to drop the sixth column. Okay, so if you say I'm using the iris underscore id data set. If you want to see the iris underscore data set, it has species along with id. So the sixth column here is id. I want to drop this id column here. So use the indexing features again, iris underscore id, and select all the rows I want to delete, and comma I want to delete of which column, all row I want to delete, the sixth column. So to drop the sixth column, use the negative sign here and give the 6, and I am saving this one in iris 2. So press Control Enter and check with head. You will see that id is not available now because it get deleted. We have deleted the id. Okay, so we can also drop column by assigning a null value or a null command, or null assigning null. Okay, so iris to assign a null value, if you assign the null value, it will automatically delete the column. Okay, so to assign the null value, use the iris underscore id. I'm using the iris underscore id, and inside what you want to delete, just inside the dollar, go to that dollar means which you want to select inside the iris underscore id data set. What you want to select using dollar, the species, and want to assign it a null value. That means it will get deleted automatically. Let's press Control Enter and check with head function. You will find that species is not there, but id is there because the variable is the earlier iris underscore id, not iris 2, because I have here using the previous used iris underscore id. Okay, so here the species get deleted. And say if you want to use a specific the specific name, and you can also use the name directly to remove using a particular column using within function. Okay, use the within function to remove attributes or any column. Say, so within, use the within function. Inside the parenthesis give the data set. Say from main iris data set, I want to delete the sepal.length. So use the within function. Inside the function in parenthesis give the first data set name iris from which you want to delete, comma, then use the remove function rm, and use the remove function rm, and inside the rm in parenthesis give what column you want to delete. Just specify the name. I want to delete sepal.length and want to assign in iris 4. Okay, so just press Control Enter and use the head function. You will see that sepal.length is no more inside the data set iris data set. Okay, so sepal.length, sepal.width is there, but sepal.length is not there. So in existing data set, iris data set, it get deleted. Okay, so in that way you can prepare the data as per your requirement, and prepare a particular type of data set that you really need for a particular type of analysis. So this is the data preparation process using the R inbuilt functions, and we can also do this using a lot of other external libraries or external packages, but I will discuss in a other video. So thanks for watching, and just if you like, just give the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and thank you.